Good morning. I'm Beth Marshall, Chair of the Generosity and Stewardship Committee. A million years ago, in the before times before COVID, I told you about a project by the Land Institute to develop and promote farming perennial grain and seed crops. I compared the root system of perennial wheatgrass, which is deep and gets deeper every year, to our opt-in stewardship system. You grow deeper and deeper roots at Northwoods. Perennial wheatgrass's field is not plowed up every year to be reseeded. And opt-in stewardship does not use half the church year to browbeat members about their monetary pledges. Perennial, no-till, ecologically intensified agriculture encourages other plants to thrive beside each other. You can continue to extend that metaphor yourself. These perennial polycultures mimic natural ecosystems. Land Institute calls them natural systems agriculture. Terms for similar systems are permaculture and agroecology. The farmer in our first video, Amarjit Sharma, worked with Keti Virasat Mission in his small village of Chaina in Punjab, India. With KVM's help, Sharma has turned his small plot of land from a lifeless, debt-ridden farm into a healthy, productive, and profitable one. The KVM project is known as the Sarbat Dibala, or Agriculture for the Well-Being of All. The principles of this philosophy focus on understanding the complex relationships between animals, insects, plants, and ourselves. By working with nature rather than against it, Sharma was able to not only increase his productivity, but also provide healthy food within a healthy environment. In the same way, natural system agriculture works to solve agriculture's 10,000-year-old problem, a problem that probably arose from the first hominins who chose edible plants to farm. Grow this, not that. Natural systems can be self-sustaining, powered by contemporary sunlight as opposed to ancient sunlight in the form of fossil fuels. They can maintain multiple important processes like pest control, fertility and nutrient cycling, erosion control, drought resistance and water management, and carbon sequestration. Nature does all that if we don't impede or overburden it, and those systems produce ample food and biomass. We must, as American botanist Wes Jackson has pointed out, meaningfully adjust our practice of treating wilderness, in isolated cases, as sacred, while treating agricultural land as profane. And we must deeply revise our thinking about our human place within the world. Now, if you heard and saw my earlier presentation, you may also remember my use of metaphor. According to Mel Wicks on Smart Blogger, a metaphor takes an object or action and compares it to something blindingly familiar, but completely unrelated. The comparison in a metaphor is always non-literal, and yet its meaning is usually abundantly clear. For example, Mother Teresa's "Love is a fruit in season at all times," or "She was the black sheep of the family." As Joseph Campbell said, if you want to change the world, change the metaphor, change the story. As Bill Moyers cited Campbell in an interview in 2016, a metaphor can help describe something or help you understand the world. I do love metaphors. They help me picture ideas that might be hard to think of directly. In my January 2020 talk, I mapped our opt-in system of treasure stewardship, time, talent, and treasure, onto the system of growing perennial wheat. Just as each plant's roots grow long and strong, when you support and sustain Northwoods with your perennial dollars, Northwoods continues to grow strong. Okay, that slipped into simile, but to go a step further, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Northwoods is real. Its staff and programs are real, and your dollars really help keep Northwoods a place that nurtures us, our community, and our projects in the world. This is where following your bliss comes in. When you are fully alive in Northwoods life, your contribution to our community's well-being, your time, your talent, and your treasure also nurture you. Oh, Jerry, come on up. Yeah?
Beth, if you don't mind, I'd like to add something.
Please, please.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Jerry Hensel, and I am the past president of Northwoods, which makes me sound really old. Old as dirt. Old enough to remember when talking about grass kind of takes you back to your college dorm days. Old enough to actually know Mark Holt, who is in the congregation today, and remember when he used to give us the most wonderful announcements. I'm trying to channel him, but I'm not doing it all that well. But anyway, what I want to say, Beth, to add to this is that I want to ask everyone to give a little extra this year. The service, committee is going to ask folks to increase their pledge by 6% this year. That's our amount that is due to the cost of living increase to our church. The cost of everything that we do goes up, as we all know. But I'm going to ask folks, could you give a little extra this year? Round it up to 10%. As a geologist, I appreciate one significant figure, 6% rounded up to 10%. And the reason we are asking this is because we would like to grow and continue the work of our staff at church here. Gaylyn works, 15 hours a week? We would like to be able to increase her hours to 20 hours a week so that she can grow our programs even more. We are asking to help give Jamie a raise. I don't think Jamie's had a raise as long as I've been here, and it is well-deserved and it is time. I'm also the chair of the HR committee, so I know that it's been a while for Jamie and for the RE coordinator position, and we would like to see them be able to get a little extra. They give a lot to this church, and it's very important. So what does that mean? If you give $50 as your pledge, we'd ask you to do $55. If you give $100, we'd ask for $110. If you give $200, $220. I am pledging myself here before you that I am going to kick in an extra $1,000 in the next fiscal year. Now, I know not everyone can afford that kind of thing. One comment about our church is that we are often older, more resourced. I'm in a position, thanks to the time that I've been given here, to be able to give a little bit extra, and so I'm going to do that, and I'd like to encourage anyone else that can to do the same. Thank you very much. And Beth, thanks for these wonderful metaphors and similes. Much appreciated.
I do what I can. Thanks, Jerry. You can get more familiar with Joseph Campbell's ideas through PBS's 1988 series, Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth, with Bill Moyers. Campbell and Moyers videotaped their conversations over several years before Campbell's death in 1987. So, what is this opt-in stewardship of which I speak? Remember when you first joined us formally at Northwoods through a membership class, a chat with Reverend Sarah, or a chat with a board member? Or perhaps you have joined informally by your attendance on Sunday and participation in Northwoods life. You always have the opportunity to give an offering on Sunday and make a pledge in person, by text, or online. You can do this even if you don't choose to become an official Northwoods member, although we hope that you do. In simple terms, Pledges are promises to support Northwoods with your treasure. By making a pledge, you opt in to our system of perennial gifts. See what I did there? In February every year, our Generosity and Stewardship Committee considers factors like the Consumer Price Index and the Social Security cost of living change to decide on your pledge change for the new year. Jacqueline did a wonderful job figuring that out this year. Because we apply this percentage to all standing pledges, this gives Treasurer Hal Meyer a starting point for constructing the new church year budget. We invite you to hold your new pledge amount up to your personal commitment at Northwoods and to adjust it according to your individual situation. You will get an email with your new pledge amount. Frequently, it's easier to remember your pledge if you round it up, especially if you want to join Jerry. Of course, if you need to decrease, you can, but we hope you won't. If you need help deciding on an appropriate pledge, click to Fair Share Giving the UU Way, linked on our online giving page on northwoodsuu.org, our website. So, perennial wheat, metaphors, bliss, and Northwoods, what will you make of them? I'm hoping you will step up to nurture Northwoods, that your bliss will sustain you and us, and that you will help create with us the real-life beauty and wonder of our Northwoods community.